New Mortal Kombat game or Injustice? It's gonna be, if we do a new Mortal Kombat game, it's gonna be the third Mortal Kombat game in a row, which is pretty crazy. 11 and 1. I feel a lot of people are going back to 11 a lot more often now than I think people would go from 11 to 1 up until this point. You know what I mean? So if you're juggling both of those right now, which I know a lot of people are, I feel still people are just going back to 11 in terms of the essence and the overall vibe, just because 11 felt really much like a hefty Mortal Kombat game in terms of like content and overall just everything. I mean, the gameplay, everybody's a split decision on that too, but what are we actually getting now? If we get another Mortal Kombat, it's going to be the third Mortal Kombat in a row in terms of the franchise, like the iteration, I guess, right? And I'm thinking now, here's a, you know, of course we have MK the Legacy Collection. I think there's been some new updates or new announcements in terms of that. And I know a lot of people are going to be having fun with that. It's an intermission type content pack slash collection slash emulator that's going to be great for people that really enjoy MK for what it actually is as a brand today. You know, MK movie also coming out, the new one. That helps out a lot with branding also, and possibly trying to push and maneuver the release of another Mortal Kombat after Mortal Kombat 1. Again, there is going to be patches on Mortal Kombat 1, so I just kind of, it's more of just a theoretical type video, a theory video of what I think is going to happen and why I think either or can happen, you know. So with Mortal Kombat, in my opinion, if they do another Mortal Kombat, it'll be solely because they're gonna probably step back, see how the movie does, see how the collection does, see how other things do that they're doing within their branding. Maybe Halloween, see how much people are still really in the hype for Mortal Kombat. Whether it's like cosplays and stuff like that, just overall branding in general with Mortal Kombat, I feel that they're gonna double check, because they obviously are not doing what they probably want to be doing numbers wise, even though it's still sold a lot of games. And two, I don't think they're even close to what they want to be doing or what they hope to be doing when it comes to the competitive side of gaming, right? So, because we all know what number Mortal Kombat was at EVO. I think it was like number 8, like one of the last ones, I think. So a lot of games that were ahead of it in a tourney sense, and there is a lot of loyal, dedicated players that play this game professionally, and so it's sad to see that, because you would hope that they would get as much, you know, if you watch EWC and EVO, like you just see all the representation of Tekken and Street Fighter. And although Mortal Kombat is stated, quote unquote, to be big 3 of the fighting games, especially due to brand name and essence alone, it's insane to not see it like even close to it in a tourney sense. So I think that, in my opinion, if Mortal Kombat goes another Mortal Kombat route, there's a lot of things that Mortal Kombat has to do. I wouldn't say like a lot of things, but there is a lot of things that you need to be doing to really bring us back. For some reason, I still don't understand why we don't have a practice mode. I feel that Mortal Kombat should have a practice mode in between matches. It feels weird when you're getting into like, you know, casual or ranked and you're just like staring at a blank screen on 11 and 1 or just ever. Like, it's like, man, like they can't iterate like a practice mode like Tekken and Street Fighter do. I think that's gonna be huge, especially for a viewer perspective. If you play this game, at least like you're casual who gets pretty sweaty, or you're just fully competitive, it'll be cool to be hanging out with your viewers and y'all could discuss like certain sets and you can stay warmed up, you know, you don't get iced out and just things like that. I think practice in between ranked matches is crucial, especially ranked, because I think ranked takes even a little bit longer than getting into casuals. But either or, just loading and matchmaking in general, there should be a practice feature, I feel. I think that's one thing. And then another thing is also just, I'm not too sure about the cameo system. If you're going to do cameo system, I think, in my opinion, which I think this is my number 2 thing, which Mortal Kombat really needs. And it's going to be kind of weird saying it, because I wouldn't say they officially need it, but I think it's a great pitch if you're going to bring back the cameo system, right? So here we go. Don't get too mad at me. Just hear me out. So if they bring back the cameo system, I feel that Mortal Kombat should implement a modern essence to it, similar to how Street Fighter 6 has modern controls and how Marvel Tokon is going to have like their type of assist slash modern control slash how you sub in those partners. I think things like that. So I feel that Mortal Kombat should implement a little bit more of a modern approach to it if they're trying to integrate these cool characters without making it so much of a manual system. Now, that is really, really tough to integrate though, because having a modern sense or like a easy input or a style input, however you say, you know, right? All the fighting games are now moving forward with these types of approaches. can Mortal Kombat get in with the modern times of fighting games as they have innovated way before back in our time? So one would say, again, let me just cover that. One, I would say I would definitely put practice mode in between that to really help out if they're coming out with another Mortal Kombat game. Two, I would say find a way to start getting modern controls in here. Although Mortal Kombat is not as difficult doing combos, I still feel casuals that can really mainstream your game and put stuff out there. I think some type of a modern approach, since every other fighting game is already doing it, can help in a sense for Mortal Kombat to remain casually oriented, because it is a casual game. This is a real casual game where real casuals dive into this. Not fighting game casuals, but actual gamers who are just flat out casuals who don't know how to play fighting games. The first game they usually know more than anything is Mortal Kombat, due to like everything that Mortal Kombat is known for, right? Like all the violence and stuff. Like people like to integrate themselves in that type of game because it's just so different from other ones, right? So I think that's it. If Mortal Kombat comes back again, my kind of hot take would be, one, I think everybody wants practice mode in between ranked, right? And then two, my hot take is maybe start getting on with the times where maybe we start adding a modern essence to the control system if you're going to bring back cameos. That's just my opinion. If it's one-on-one, probably not, depending. But if you're doing the cameo system again, maybe integrate some ways to bring a little bit more cinematic with the modern stuff to get people into the game. At least let them match a little bit, figure it out, just like how every game does it now. Street Fighter, Fatal Fury, Marvel Tokon, and just everything else, right? It just how they integrate stuff. We can get a casual kind of playing a little bit to like give them the confidence to want to keep playing. Because at the end of the day, you know, game developers and just publishers in general want to sell units, and I feel that that's a way to sell units. But yeah, that's if you're doing that. But it is a hot take for sure, because I agree with both sides. Like, heck no, like I don't want modern. But yeah, maybe modern can work, right? Because some people did feel the cameo system was a lot harder for them, which is why they're not playing this game. So yeah, I think that's one thing. So if Mortal Kombat comes back again for the third time, which would be insane, I would try that. So practice in rank for sure, and definitely a cameo system. I don't really know what else that I'm thinking more of a mainstream level. I play fighting games regardless, but I'm thinking more for like a mainstream casual, trying to maybe better tutorials to some essence. Single player offline content for sure. Like I'll definitely think about that, because it has to be definitely different. 11 and 1 are way different, but it kind of seemed like it declined. Didn't really make that jump that I thought it would make. At first, it seemed like because they were marketing the OG essence of it, but yeah, it just never happened. So yeah, hopefully they make a bigger jump into becoming modernized, and please just give us practice mode in between matches, because like waiting and staring at a blank screen is crazy for a viewer essence. And if you want your game to be marketed, like we want to help, we want to play games, we want to spread the word and help teach all of our friends who don't play fighting games as much, so we can break it down even more. You know, it helps on an educational side, a marketing side, a mainstreaming side, and just overall awareness for the game in general. That's just my opinion. So yeah, Mortal Kombat, try that out. So next, Injustice, right? I want to touch base a little bit on Injustice now. I don't really know the full essence of it. Would be Injustice 3 or whatever they call it. But the only reason why I'll look for them to be Injustice, because Mortal Kombat, the brand's going to sell more, of course. And they already have the movie, and they already have the Legacy Collection. They're probably going to see how all that is going. If they do decide to bring in Injustice game, I feel it's going to be the test of the field of superhero fatigue. You know, superhero movies are really good right now. They're better than they have been in a long time. Although it's not like top of the top like the way it was at peak, like Avengers Infinity War and stuff. Superhero movies are still doing really good. The fatigue has kind of wore off a little bit, because there has been some comeback and some better movies with Deadpool and Fantastic Four, Superman, Thunderbolt, stuff like that. And then you have Marvel Rivals and Marvel Tokon. Now, Rivals is not a fighting game, but I'm just saying like the brand in general. And then you have Marvel Tokon. So I feel Mortal Kombat has a couple of things to do. They're going to probably step back and watch to see how the Mortal Kombat stuff does, and then maybe see how Marvel Tokon does. Because if that happens, because you also got the Peacemaker show that's coming around, you got stuff like that. If Marvel Tokon does good, in my opinion, I think it could be kind of strategic to maybe think of Injustice and just give MK a break for a while, because 11 and 1 were not, they were both mixed bags for a lot of people. So I think Injustice could probably give MK some fresh air, make us miss MK for a little while, because we're probably gonna be MK'd out, because we had back-to-back games and almost a third game maybe, if they think about it. So Injustice, in my opinion, would be good to give us a break and to possibly kind of just capitalize on maybe something what Marvel Tokon is doing. If it's received well as a superhero game, maybe other casuals will want to check out something like Injustice with the DC side of everything. And maybe it'll make them like dive deeper into that research component, or maybe they add their own variation of a tag, right? Injustice 3. There's a lot of room now for NetherRealm to be like, all right, what do we do now? Like these modern fighting games, a lot of tag fighting games are coming around. That our cameo system wasn't well received. Do we bring a full tag and an option for 1v1s? Can we do that with a superhero essence, right? Bring on that type of tag, or the way Togon's doing their tag. So there's a lot of ways to really look around in there. So I think that overall, I know a full-on yap session, of course, man. So y'all can drop your thoughts and let me know what y'all think. But I feel that if it's Mortal Kombat again, if you don't want us to be MK'd out, at least bring in the practice mode, make the waiting times better. You know, the net code and being able to practice in between matches would be superb. And a viewership, I don't stream or game it as much, because like I'm just staring at a blank screen all day, and I'm just like, it just looks bad. Then with Injustice, if you bring Injustice, it'll be great to take a break from MK, and it'll be cool to just see like maybe the superhero, like the evolution once again, because we haven't seen superhero really be as much as we wanted it. There's a couple of like that phase was just not as great in recent times from COVID onward. So yeah, I'm excited. Hopefully MK can do that, and maybe even think about modern controls if you're gonna bring in a little bit more of a complex system, just because every modern fighting game is doing that to try to bring in a mainstream casual audience. If there's one brand that can really bring real casuals to a game, it's Mortal Kombat. If you make Mortal Kombat simplified, at least at an entry level, but not at the highest level, I feel that they could have themselves a win. They could still double the units just by getting people to stay on the game for a little while longer and get confidence. You know, it's similar to how like Call of Duty does aim assist. It's similar to how Call of Duty does skill-based matchmaking. That's exactly what modern controls are for fighting games right now. And if you need your casual audience to stay around, then there has to be some type of like iterations where it's like, oh, cool, where it's adapted for people to stay on these games. And Call of Duty does that surprisingly well, despite what year they release and how they release their crap. So yeah, I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all drop y'all thoughts. Yeah, Mortal Kombat or Injustice? Y'all let me know what's up.